Hi there, a very warm welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mufaro Mazodze and today is episode 3 of my money series. I know that I had abandoned or neglected the money series, but today's episode is inspired by the popular TV series I Blew It. Now this TV series, I'm sure we are all familiar with it. It's basically a show about how people who may have won, like, for example, R1,000,000, people that might have received a lump sum of money, like a lot of money, and then they ended up finishing all their money, using up all their money, and basically going flat broke. The one episode, I'm so sorry, guys, I am actually fighting a cold from nowhere. Excuse my husky voice and my slow talking. So the one episode I remember watching, this guy received a lump sum of money, and he got so broke to a point that he was actually homeless. And it was a very touching story, and it really inspired me to actually just come out here, throw a little episode on what you actually do after winning a large amount of money or a lump sum of money. I'm just going to use an example of R1,000,000. Like, what would you do if you were to be given R1,000,000? Is it enough money for you to quit your job? Is it enough money for you to live like a rock star every single day? Is it enough money for you to live like a celebrity every single day? Is it enough money for you to just actually think, you know what, all my problems are solved, I can now start living? So before I get into my video, this is a money talk video, and I am going to be giving advice on money, so I must put a disclaimer. Though I am an accounting graduate, I am not a qualified or certified financial advisor, so please take my advice with a pinch of salt. Anyway, getting into it. So I think the best way to describe money issues, or the best way that I want to tackle this topic, is if someone gives me R1,000,000, for example, or you receive R1,000,000, which is 50,000 US dollars, right? Even like this show, I believe they also do it in America, overseas. So anyone watching in the world can relate to this topic. 50,000 US dollars is not a lot of money, which is R1,000,000. The best way to think about money, and when you receive a large sum of money, I honestly believe you just need to relax. You need not panic. You need not get too excited, especially if it's an amount like R1,000,000, which is honestly not a lot of money. And I know you might not believe me when I say that R1,000,000 is not a lot of money, but if you think about it, R1,000,000 can only buy you 40 iPhones. You know, the iPhone 14 Pro Max, the one that goes for 25K, or no, it's actually the normal iPhone 14, whatever. The one that goes for 25,000 Rand. You can only buy 40 of those. And I think that helps you to paint a picture. 40 iPhones is only like, that means that out of a classroom of children, which in South Africa, our classrooms usually have around 40 kids in a class, right? Especially in primary. That means if there's 43 kids in that classroom and you have R1,000,000, you can only gift 40 of those kids an iPhone 14. Like, that is insane. And it's only 40 iPhones. So knowing that, look, this is not a lot of money. Money finishes. I think one thing people don't understand, or one thing I can see or learn from the people who I saw on I Blew It, is that they didn't really believe that the money they've received is going to come to a point, there's going to come a point in time where that money is finished. So it comes to financial literacy really at the end of the day, because someone out there believes that if you give me R1,000,000, I'm good for the rest of my life, which is absolutely not true. Not true. When you receive a lot of money, or when you're dealing with money, you always need to do your maths. You always need to do the numbers, play do a budget, for example, right? And I think the one thing that obviously makes sense when you receive a lot of money is that you need to invest it. You need to grow it. Let's say you have received R1,000,000 and you want to be good for the rest of your life. There's no way you can achieve that without starting a business or without trying to find ways in which you can turn that R1,000,000 into 10 million Rand, into 100 million Rand, which is definitely possible if you are qualified to do it or if you have the right knowledge to do it. So I would say step number one, please see a financial advisor. The second thing you can do, which I think can be very helpful in the case where you are not very well knowledgeable on how to run a business, because it's easy to tell someone to start running a business. But remember, running a business doesn't always mean that business is going to be successful. So if you wanted to really do the business, I would also strongly recommend that you actually sign up for a course, a short course, a crash course on how do you actually run a business, how do you make sure the business you're running becomes successful, how do you make sure that you don't invest money in a business and then that money pretty much goes to waste because the business fails. For example, let's say I decide I want to start selling sneakers and then I buy a lot of sneakers and then it turns out nobody likes these sneakers. I might spend 100,000 Rand on these sneakers, but if nobody likes the sneakers I buy and nobody buys them, I could easily make 100,000 Rand loss. The second thing I would actually recommend a lot of people do if you happen to, let's say, receive money from road accident fund, money from people get, there are many ways, insurance payouts. There are many ways that people can end up having, like, for example, 750,000 Rand in their bank account. There are many ways in which people can end up having a lot of money in their account. And so number two, there is something called an annuity. Hey, there's something called an annuity. An annuity is basically, there's many types of annuities. First of all, there's an annuity whereby I can say I want to put in 5,000 Rand every month into a certain account, and by the end of 20 years, my child will have enough money to go to university. But there's also the opposite of something like that. If somebody were to give me R1,000,000 and I'm just like, you know what, I don't want to deal with the stress of running a business, the stress of XYZ, I might actually go to a financial institution. I'll list down some financial institutions that you can go to. I give them my R1,000,000 Rand because they're a trustworthy institution, and then they pay me a certain amount every single month until those funds are depleted. And the nice thing about it is that your money is going to grow interest because you have taken a large sum of it, you've given it to a trustworthy financial institution, they keep your money, and then every single month they pay you. For example, you could decide, you know what, I can live off 10,000 Rand a month. They give you that 10,000 Rand every single month, and they'll say, you know what, and it's all on paper. That's a nice thing. They'll say, okay, you've got R1,000,000 Rand. This will last you 10 years and we'll be paying you 10,000 Rand every single month, which actually makes a lot of sense if you do the maths, because then that means that your 1,000,000 Rand actually turned into, I think, 1,120,000 Rand. Okay, I'll do the maths later. So it grew a bit of interest, and then they were giving you 10,000 Rand every single month. So these are just ideas. Starting a business is great and all, but with starting a business, you must always think about the risk involved. Every single financial decision you make is a potential risk. Even opening a spaza shop, because if I don't know business studies 101 and I start a spaza shop and let's say the stock for the spaza shop costs me 30,000 Rand, and then I make sales of 60,000 Rand, you need to know that you can't eat that full 60,000 Rand. With the spaza shop, you would have to realize that you can't just say, okay, I bought stock of 30K, now I've sold all that stock, and now you need to realize that you have to go back and stock again. And there are many risks. When you're running a spaza shop, you don't want to hire someone who can steal. You don't want to also be in an area that has too much competition, etc., etc., etc. But I think, honestly, when it comes to receiving a large sum of money, it is really just thinking about it. It is not enough money for you to live your best life ever. Even 100 million rand. Like, okay, you could get 100 million rand, buy a mansion. After buying that mansion, you go on holidays, you quit your job, you start living your best life. You start living your best life, but if you're not careful, even if it takes 5 years, you're going to get to that point whereby that money is finished and you're going to be sitting in your mansion and you won't even be able to buy bread. And this is what we see on I Blew It. This is exactly what we see. So I think, and also I think another thing that gets people is thinking that just because I've gotten 1 million rand, I can end world poverty. You definitely can't. You can't finish all your family, relatives' problems. You can't. And I think it comes, especially with men, it comes from an ego thing, like, oh yeah, I'm the guy, you know, no party is gonna start until I arrive. This family function won't start until I've arrived. If I'm gonna go out, I'm buying the drinks, I'm sponsoring everything. But what you don't know is that you're shooting yourself in the foot. And as we've seen these stories on I Blew It, and I hope that you take one or two things from this video, because anyone can actually be privy or privileged to have to receive a large sum of money. I'm going to leave episode 1 and 2 of my money series somewhere in this video, and so that you can also learn one or two things about money. I can definitely go into a lot more detail, but I hope this video was helpful and that I love you for watching. Please spread and share with others so that we all make happy and great financial decisions. I love you for watching always. Bye.